Mario Kart World came out roughly 3 months ago. Surely nothing interesting is happening in the Mario Kart Wii community during that time. Wrong. This is the most ridiculous thing I think I have ever seen in Mario Kart Wii, period. Circuit is broken. No, it does not have an ultra shortcut, but honestly, you can argue that this is way crazier than an ultra shortcut. Player named EJ, who is the former Grumble Volcano world record holder and a well-known tool assister in the community, has actually found a way to make the super slide glitch RTA viable. And I always thought to myself, maybe one day we will see this done legit. But sure enough, it happened. So I'm gonna play a small part of EJ's documentary on this amazing story that is unfolded here in the Mario Kart Wii community. During the whole entire documentary, EJ will teach you everything about like the history leading up to super sliding and a lot of the important discoveries that led to, you know, the culmination of everything, which is this world record here that he sets. This is a fast lap world record that he's going for. So lap 1 does not matter. So when you see his time on the top right corner already being equivalent to what it usually takes to finish a lap on Luigi Circuit, all that matters is his lap 2 time for the record he's going for. It's just about getting the fastest 1 lap time, so usually players burn all their mushrooms on the lap where they're going for the record. But he has to use a mushroom to pull off this glitch. And this just might look really weird to anyone who doesn't know Mario Kart Wii very well. If you come from any other Mario Kart game, the rest of the games do not go like this. And maybe there's a reason Nintendo did not bring back the wheelies ever, because it was extremely broken, not only for the main gameplay with the 10% speed advantage it gave you, but also clipping into poles and getting obscene amounts of air for no reason. So as you can see, he's already on attempt 1,273 here, and he's keeping track of all of the different checkpoints essentially for nailing this glitch. So, you know, for high clip, seam landing, seam stop, he's at 135 high clips, but then he only got 13 seam landings out of 135 high clips, and then he was able to stop 3 times out of the 13 seam landings he gets. To get the high clip, he's got to throw in like 2 wheelies and then use a mushroom, and what that does in Mario Kart Wii is it makes your vehicle bounce. So he's able to get the bounce, and if he has some height while he clips the pole and just gets the very corner, you know, the very end of Funky Kong's elbow to hit that pole while airborne, he'll get that super jump, that super boost in the air, and he'll fly up way further than he should. Like, he had to literally align with this bush right here, and he wouldn't even be able to see the pole by the time he launches off with the mushroom. He has to just kind of send it and use the bush as his marker, because, you know, you can't see the pole when you go through the bush like this. That's the very first part of this, and this has so many different layers to it. He used the KMP editor, and he was looking at out of bounds, like the barriers for Luigi Circuit, and sure enough, there's like no invisible wall over here. So it's just this regular wall, and he's able to get above the wall and then still land on the track, and then he does this right here. So it's just a really amazing coincidence. There's no invisible wall over there. I don't think Nintendo felt they needed to put an invisible wall on the very edge of the map that nobody ever goes to while they race Luigi Circuit. EJ said otherwise. This is attempt number 3059, super slide number 1, because once you get on the other side of the wall, you have to land on the seam successfully and not fall off, and then you gotta essentially like start like a standstill mini turbo and wiggle yourself into the track, so half of your vehicle is underneath the level and half is above. So there's just like 4 or 5 insanely difficult components to this before you even actually start the lap here. And see, this is his first super slide on attempt number 3059. And as you can see, he doesn't go for the shortcut at the end. He plays it safe and spams his 2 mushrooms at the end, and he gets a 21.212, 21.212, beats the world record by 0.378 for the fast lap using the new super sliding RTA method. Yeah, this is a monumental world record. I cannot stress enough. It's one of those things that you just never think will happen in the game. I always wondered if it would. We've seen so many tool assists over the years where players are doing all these crazy things that we never think could be done in inside the game itself. What's crazy about this is like the actual, oh, here's a good screen to stop it on. Yeah, see, look at a 0.378 shave when Luigi's Circuit is usually seeing like a 0.01 shave per world record, maybe a little bit more than that. There's the input viewer on the bottom left, and you can see it goes neutral and then far left, far left, far left, and he accumulates speed. And then if you look at the bottom right, you'll see the speed accumulation. Actually, you know what? My webcam is actually blocking it. The EV, it doesn't have to do with the actual speed of the wheels themselves. It has to do with everything else not related to the vehicle itself for the speed. So you can essentially manipulate your speed in this game in a way that is unrelated to the vehicle. The bottom right corner is the speed. You can see they're going 120 almost. And normally if you're in the sphere and you're wheeling the fastest bike in the game, you can only go like 98.
Now, there is a humanly possible way to exploit EV, supersliding. You see, behind the scenes, vehicle models in Mario Kart Wii don't actually match their visible textures. Their models consist of multiple spheres, some of which are assigned to be the vehicle body, and others the wheels. Because the game only expects your wheels to be on the ground, some wacky stuff can happen when the vehicle body interacts with the ground instead. If you position your bike at the very edge of a thin, flat plane of ground with no walls nearby, then fall off momentarily and quickly snap the joystick in the direction of the track, you can wedge the ground between the bike's hitbox spheres and get stuck. It's not well known when this was first discovered, since the first instance of it was likely accidental. Supersliding works because you can continuously tap the joystick to lean and generate EV, and because the wheels aren't on the ground, the EV increases faster than it can dissipate. This isn't useful in practice though, because you can only travel in a straight line and the superslide is incredibly fragile. Changes in ground slope, hopping, wheeling, reversing, and slamming into walls will eject you from the superslide state, and you can't re-enter it without doing the setup from scratch.
Before we get to the 3-lap world record, I highly recommend you check out EJ's video. There is a plethora of information from, you know, the beginning of the history of these different techniques being found with tool assist and how the knowledge just kept accumulating, which led to this moment right here. But before we end this video, let me show you the 3-lap world record with super sliding. Luigi's Circuit 108.126, the birth of a new category by Flam Bam Bam. You may have heard this player's name before because he had the world record on Mushroom Gorge multiple times with the Shooting Star, a vehicle that everyone said was completely unviable for over a decade. Not for Flam Bam Bam, and here he is bringing out the ODB tech again, although it is not the Shooting Star this time. We have the Wario bike, but he's adding to his resume, his world record page here, and he's got this really cool video for us here showing what he went through, the pain and agony he went through to get this time. But look at this, the camcorder footage. Oh, it's so hype. 108.1, it just looks like a fake time, because when the world record was 108.9 by Cole many years ago, like a decade ago, everyone said the track was done. 107 would never happen. Here we go. We have the input viewer too, so if you want to try this at home, just make sure to follow the input viewer, ladies and gentlemen. Look at this. He gets to the seam and inside the track, or half under the track, I guess, in 10 seconds. So looking at the minimap though, it still looks impossible. You're looking at the minimap and like, he's not even at the shortcut, and the Funky Kong, Casey, has already finished the lap. He's still really far behind. There's only like less than 40 seconds left here in the run. And then look at this. That is the mushroom spot. Going over that tiny little bit of off-road, but it makes sense because your turning maneuverability is not really that great when you're wedged into the ground, so you gotta do what you gotta do. And you're also not affected by off-road, so you could do the shortcut. You could do the ending shortcut shroomless. Yeah, this is insane. So yeah, the most absurd mushroom spot in the game. And look at this, the magical moment right here. Funky Kong, good games. The time is now. Oh my gosh. It's just a different game now. You're not supposed to drive above the track. 19.6, that actually beats the flap world record that was initially set by EJ too. That's something else, isn't it? If you remember in EJ's run at the very end, he did not do the ending shortcut and he was still able to get the world record and beat the no glitch time. But look at this, This is what it looks like for Casey, watching Flam just cheese the track. And then the way that Flam bounces off both pipes too is magical. We gotta watch the ending one more time. This is the coolest ending. Like, look at the analog stick, look at the situation, and then he's gotta do this shortcut. Bonk, bonk. Oh my gosh, I cannot imagine the stress of those 2 bonks. I like how it says the birth of a new category on the bottom left. Very cool stuff. And this world record, like I said, it was beaten by JC, and then it was beaten again by Flam, and then it was beaten one more time by JC. So that's where it currently stands. And then yeah, they used King Boo in this run because of the handling stat being the most important. It's just the new evolution of Mario Kart Wii. We had 10+ years of ultra shortcuts, just terrorizing the world record scene for, you know, each and every track. Almost over half of the tracks in the game like have an ultra shortcut, but it's just a whole new level of absurdity here in 2025 for Mario Kart Wii. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it for this video. Check out EJ's documentary. It's super well edited. It'll tell you the whole entire story, and I'm sure many of you watching this want to learn more about this, and that would be the perfect segue into figuring out what is going on in Mario Kart Wii, because I really only scratched the surface with all the different points of interest and mechanics at play, making this glitch truly what it is.